I'm Senator David Coltart. I was Minister of Education in Zimbabwe between 2009 and 2013. I'm also a lawyer and I'm a senior partner of a legal practice here in Bulawayo. Sadly, because of poverty in Zimbabwe and inadequate funding of the education sector, although the government has a constitutional obligation to ensure that children can get through schools and have their fees paid for, the reality is that many parents of children do not have the means to pay for school fees. In a country like Britain, even if you're poor, you can go to a state school and be guaranteed that you can get your A-levels if you work hard and you're bright enough. That doesn't happen in Zimbabwe. Children literally drop out, and so they can never realize their potential. They can never get their A-levels and never go on to a university or a technicon to get that critically important degree to get employed in future. Because of declining levels of funding for education, there are many talented children falling by the wayside. And it means that even when we get viable and reasonable economic policies in place in the country, unless we have the throughput of engineers and architects and doctors and nurses, we won't be able to realize those economic objectives. And in that context, organizations like the Buddha Trust are playing a critical role, not just in the lives of these children, but in securing a future for Zimbabwe as a whole. A strong and stable Zimbabwe is dependent on a strong education system, this generation of children coming through that can build a country in future. And a strong Zimbabwe will have a disproportionately positive effect on Southern Africa, and Southern Africa is the key to Africa. A donation to the Buddha Trust may well be a donation to an extremely talented young Zimbabwean child who may become a leader, a lawyer, a doctor, an architect in Zimbabwe, and will help in the transformation of this country. If you give £1 to Buddha, you know that over 80% of your donation is actually going to go to a child. And there are scores, hundreds, perhaps thousands of success stories arising out of Buddha. Young men and women in Zimbabwe who would have been denied the opportunity to write O-levels and A-levels, who've now not just written their A-levels, but gone on to tertiary education, got their degrees, and are now contributing back not just into Zimbabwean society, but I dare say into working in other countries as well. So this is a superb investment. I have no doubt that there will be dramatic change in this country. But until that happens, it is critically important that we don't lose this generation of children, because this country will rise again. It has enormous potential, but it is critically important that institutions survive during this period of transition, during this period of turmoil, and that the children we will need in future to rebuild this country get good A-levels and are enabled to go on to university, because 5-10 years down the road, we will desperately need them. I have absolutely no doubt that Zimbabwe will rise again and reach its true potential. You can play a critically important role in that process. So I hope that I can encourage you to give generously to the Buddha Trust.